The media was very negative, and that's where a lot of people in the general public got their information from on HIV. And because their information was so negative and also very stigmatising, I remember one day looking into the mirror thinking, that's me that they're talking about. That number that they're talking about and that percentage is me. Hi, my name's Diane, and I'm a woman that's been living with HIV for the last 40 years, since 1986. It was Friday afternoon, about 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock Friday afternoon is when all disasters happen, really. I was at my local GP, and to get a doctor's certificate to say I was clear for work, that's when he turned to me and he said, I can't give it to you. And I said, well, why not? And he said, oh, you know why? Because you've got AIDS. I only knew 2 things about AIDS at that stage, both things that I knew I'd got from the media. 1, that it was a gay disease, and 2, that you died from it. That's all I knew. I was from Adelaide, and I was probably what you would call just a, average childhood. Did my homework on time, didn't talk back to my parents. Then started going out night clubbing when I was a young adult, and that's where I met the partner. He one night said to me that he was on heroin. So with that, he offered me a shot of heroin, which I took, and became a heroin addict and had started using every day. To support my heroin habit, I worked as a sex worker. I was a lot younger and skinnier and less wrinkles and grey hair back in that day. And so that's where I had to go to the doctors to get the doctor's certificate to say that I was clear of all STIs, and became HIV positive, most likely through sharing of needles. My partner got home, and when I told him, he said, the first words out of his mouth was, well, I bet you've given it to me then. So for the whole weekend, it was very scary, very lonely, and just didn't know where my future was going to be and what was going to happen. Going to a place like any drug and alcohol places and demanding to see a doctor straight away isn't normally the done thing, but they must have had some sort of idea what was happening, because I got to see my doctor straight away, where she then said that you've got HIV, and she was going through what HIV meant, what it was the immune system, and I wasn't hearing anything. It was going in this ear and out that ear. My partner and I, we then got a referral to Royal Perth Hospital, where it came back that he was also positive. They first of all said to us that we had a year to live, because that's all they knew back then. And also because of being female, not to have children. To being told that it had a year to live wasn't really such a huge thing, but it was the children thing that really broke my heart. And I think probably for about the first 10 years, it was still the thing that would bring tears to my eyes. It's great nowadays, because as long as all the ducks are in a row and the woman's undetectable, and women can have children, and the risk of mother to baby is now under 2%. So it's really great that women actually have those choices that I didn't have back then. So what did I do in my dying days of only having 1 year to live? I decided I'd enroll in a 2-year TAFE course. 2 and 1 doesn't really work. I never really was very good at math. So I enrolled in a 2-year TAFE course, which was on working with children, my associate diploma in childcare. So if I couldn't have children, I could at least then work with children. It changed my lifestyle. I also obviously became very well educated on HIV and what it does, and I've actually chosen to be out about being HIV positive. I've done lots of boards and committees, both on a local level and also on a national level. The reason I chose to do that is because I wanted to be a voice for people with HIV, and in particularly women. And that's why I now work at the AIDS Council as a peer women's worker, giving women the chance to tell their stories and experiences, because we're a minority within a minority. And so it's really important that you've got somewhere that you can go and feel safe and talk about what's happening for you. Over the years, I've been very involved in lots of campaigns on a local and national level, everything from billboards to posters on the back of a toilet door, which a friend of mine saw when she went to go to the toilet. She rang me and she said, "I can't do a wee because I can see you on the back of the toilet door." So again, that's to be happy to be a face out there to show, that I don't have to feel ashamed, but to show that I could be that grey-haired lady at Coles that you're standing next to and you would have no idea that I've got HIV. For me, I think it's the way that I project it as well, that I certainly don't have to feel shame. So if I'm not projecting that, I can't have that projected back onto me. But the other thing that it introduced me to was the gay community. And the gay community are the ones that started the AIDS Council, was pretty much around of Australia. So it's a really weird thing to say that it's almost been a bit of a gift having HIV. If that means that I have more understanding to other minority groups that are around, I think that's a good thing. And I guess that has been the role that I've played since being diagnosed. I've taken on advocacy work and education work because I knew how tough it was back in the beginning, back in 1986. And when we were first diagnosed, people didn't want to touch us. They didn't want to hug us. They certainly didn't want to, I know people in their families where they would have their own cup and saucers. I had to have a procedure done, and up on the screen it had, is HIV positive, wear gloves. Now, there was no body fluids that was being involved there. So I spoke to the manager and they said, "You're right, anybody with a bloodborne virus, we don't need to be wearing gloves." And I said I was happy to talk to the staff. So I went in expecting to see about 6 people, and there's about 35 people. So I was really quite impressed with the hospital and that they did the changes, and it was straight away. The partner I had, just to let you know what happened to that side of the story, unfortunately he actually passed away in 1992. Before he passed away, we'd actually broken up, which was quite a difficult time for me. I thought, but if I break up with him, who else is going to want me? To tell people that you've got HIV, that you potentially want to have a relationship with, is really hard because, like for everybody, that fear of rejection. My life has gone on. I keep on making plans in my life of what I wanted to do. I've just achieved one of the lifetime goals, which was going on a trip to Japan. And things I did, I think it's called Unsun that they do in Japan. It's like a public bath type of thing where you go in naked. So my scars from breast cancer and my 64-year-old body is all out there for show. And it was a good way, I think, for me. I did it as a way of wrapping up all of my health issues in a positive way, and to do something that was quite challenging for me, and just felt really good about it and to feel good about myself. My way of coping with HIV has always had a bit of a humour aspect to it, I guess, because you can laugh, you either laugh or you cry, and I choose to laugh. And when I was going through breast cancer, people were saying to me, "Oh, you've coped with it so well." And I said, well, it's not my first rodeo. And if I can cope with the media and the stigmatisation that they would put upon it or try to put upon us, I think that I could cope with anything. So it's only ever been me that I could rely on. So I had to be strong to get through.